second exercise of our Baduan chin set. It's called pulling the bow to the left and to the right. Looks like that. Once again, I start with my feet parallel to each other, roughly hip wide apart, not quite hip wide, not too much, rather a little bit less than hip wide apart. Exercise looks like that. So, first of all, the step. To start with the movement, I sink my body into one leg. In this case, the right leg, because the movement starts to the left. So I sink my weight to the right leg, bend my right knee, and turn my hip towards the right. This is for my center of gravity to shift above my right foot, so the left foot becomes free. The next thing is I want to step to the left side with my left foot. Very important in all the stepping that we do in the Baduan chin set is it should be an empty step. An empty step means that from this position I place my foot, but I would still be able to pull the foot back without any further movement from the rest of my body. Once again, what would be a full step? A full step would be to simply drop with my whole weight into the foot. What I want to bring the foot to the side, and from here have the option to pull it back without having to do anything with my upper body or to push myself away from the left side. So my center of gravity has to be that perfect over my standing leg, and the rest that the body and further on the arms are doing, those are all aspects that balance my stepping to the side out so that it's even and that I can do it as a flowing movement. I do that once again. I sink into my right hip. I turn the body a little further, step to the side, bring my body into center, then come back, stand up. That's lesson number 2 concerning our step. When we are in the side, we don't come back like so. We come back placing the left foot to the right and then stand up using both legs. The same goes for the other direction. Just I drop my weight into the left leg bends. Already the right heel leaves the ground. It's the same on both sides. I show you on the other side as well. Then I turn my body a little further in order for my foot to be able to make an empty step to the side. I could still pull it back, but I don't now. I shift my weight to the middle and take my place centered between my two legs. Then I push back to the left. Heel leaves the ground and gives me this extra little movement to the left. Then I bring the right to the left and stand up with both legs. I show you from the side. From the side it looks like that. I drop my weight into the right leg. Notice the right leg is completely flat on the ground. I've bent in my hip, in my knee joint and in my ankle. The left heel, do the same movement on the same side. The left heel already left the ground as soon as I dropped my weight into the right foot. From there, the body turns further and the left foot steps to the side. Then I bring my center of gravity in the middle and I rest between my legs. Talking about this end position, the position where we stand with both legs, the inside edges of our feet are still parallel. So make sure not to step with the foot turned out to the side, but the inside edges of my feet are still parallel to each other. Now, there is the possibility to stand with straight legs. We don't do that. There is the possibility to overextend my legs to the rear. We don't do that either. And there is the possibility to let ourselves drop to the front, meaning the knees bend, and there is a specific point, a specific sweet spot, you would call it, where my legs feel as if they are carrying themselves without any further action. So it's not a position where you say, whoa, he's bent knees all the time. That's a lot of strength you need in your legs. Not if you do it correctly. So there is a point where all the muscles and the bones are perfectly aligned, and obviously, yes, you need tension in the muscles, but there is a point where the tension in the muscles is minimum in relation to the position. If you look at that position from the side, it looks like that. You have this bent hip, knee, and ankle joint. Your spine is straight, so your pelvis is sunk down in the rear. We don't have anything like that. We don't have anything like that. We don't have anything like that. What we do have is a straight drop down. So the sacrum, that's the bone on the base of your spine, the sacrum drops down, makes for a long spine. The head is also in alignment with the spine over it, not collapsed to the front, not pulled back like that. My shoulders aren't pulled back. The shoulders rest comfortably and naturally on the side of my body, and that's the position we are in. Now, how deep you'll find your sweet spot actually depends on how wide you're stepping. If I stand here and I make a very long step, then my sweet spot is going to be deeper. If I stand here and I make a very, very short step, my sweet spot's going to be up here. So that's already something where you have to be aware of yourself. That's already something where you have to check, okay, what's happening here? Does that feel right? Could I find a position where there is still less tension in my legs, but still have the knees bent? So that's your first task to do here. Let's jump to the arm movement. The arm movement looks like that. I just don't do anything with my legs now. The left arm crosses the right. On the inside meaning the left arm is closer to my body than my right. And I turn my body a little bit to the right side. From here, I turn to the left and come into a position as if I was holding a baby, holding out a baby. It's called holding the baby posture in standing Qigong. So one arm goes out with the palm facing towards me and slightly up, and the other arm is a little bit underneath it, also with the palm facing towards me and a little bit up. It's like that. Make sure that the elbows aren't tucked in like that, but that you're open in your elbows at that position. So when you take a fist and you put your fist under the arms, under the armpit, to the side like that, not up like that, to the side, so horizontally, like that, then you have the correct position of your arms in the shoulders. We don't want anything like that, and we don't want anything where the arms are up there. So once again, up until this point, the left arm comes up on the inside of the right. They cross in front of my body. I turn the body to the right. Then I turn the body to the left. I have this posture in between. In the movement, we are not going to stop there later on. It's just for you to get an idea. As soon as the hands are in this position, now the left arm opens up and the right one pulls back. Now notice that in this position, both my arms are at shoulder height at the maximum. I don't want my arms to be up there, don't want anything like this or this. And I don't want my shoulders to rise. So I come out, check out the shoulders. The shoulders are still far away from the ears. They are not tense like that. My shoulders are resting comfortably on the body. And then I open up. In this opening up position, my shoulders are still completely relaxed, resting on my body. And I have one line from my right elbow, through my shoulders, into my left palm. There comes something with the left hand. I show you in a minute. After that, just drop your arms down into the middle and then gently push down. Flex your wrists a little bit. This movement will make sense once we do the leg movement in addition. I show you the same thing on the right side. On the right side it looks like that. You turn to the left. This time the right hand passes on the inside, so closer to the body. When we do the movement to the left, left is on the inside. When we do the movement to the right is on the inside to start with. So from here, turn the body to the left, right is inside, which means we turn the body to the right. Now we come to this holding the baby posture on the other side. One arm up here, one arm down there. From this position on, this time the right arm extends and the left arm gets pulled backwards. Once again, I have one line between left elbow, left shoulder, and right palm. I don't want anything like that. The shoulders are not at the ears, the shoulders are sunk down, and I have this position. Always try to use the least possible tension in your muscles in order to perform a certain movement. That goes for the whole Baduan Chin set, with one exception where we actually use tension in the 7th exercise. Other than that, it's always try to use the least amount of tension possible. Why? Because in this stage, the joints are actually free to perform the movement as they were designed to do. Obviously, you can do a movement very precisely, but for the body, coordination-wise, it's much more difficult to do a movement completely straight than to actually do a movement in curves. That's because we have no straight joints. There is no joint in the physical human body that is built the same way than, say, an angle of a door or something like that. So what we have are joints that are very complex, three-dimensional curves. And all those curves, they want to be lived. Whenever we talk about natural movement doesn't necessarily mean only a specific set of movement. Natural movement is defined like so. A natural movement is a movement where the pressure in the joint and the pressure in the body is the least possible. So I am in my way? No, I'm not in my way. Exactly the opposite. I don't stand in my own way. I don't put pressure on joints where there shouldn't be any. What I do is I perform a movement no matter what. Even regular walking, I perform a certain movement with the least possible tension, thus giving my joints the opportunity to move as they were physiologically, anatomically meant to move. And that's what we're talking about here. Now coming back to this movement. Once again, show you, I come up, the left arm is on the inside. We turn to the left, we have this holding the baby posture and then pull back. After this pulling back, the right arm forms a slight fist with the thumb sitting up. The left arm actually bends in the wrist and bends the fingers, so it's something like that, and the bending backwards in the fingers. So you have a capital letter L shape between your index finger and your thumb. You have this bend in your wrist, and you have the rest 3 fingers bent inwards. Now, if you're not able to get a 90-degree angle here, doesn't matter. It's only the idea of stretching your wrist backwards. So your thumb points up and your index finger points to the rear. It's about the stretch in this area here. We're going to talk about that a little later. So once again, with those additions, I come up, open to the left, and bring my body back to the center. That's the actual motion of pulling the bow. Now I have my right fist horizontally vertically this time, so upside down. I have my thumb resting on top of my fist, and I have my left hand that's bent a little bit to the back as far as possible, but without straining you, like so. Then I release both hands, come back to the middle, and let them sink down. Now to the right side. The right arm comes up on the inside. I turn to the right. I pull back to the left. And I open. This time the right hand flexes back. Thumb and index finger form this capital letter L shape. I have my fingers rolled in, and on the left side I have this slight fist with the thumb sitting on top. Let's combine those movements with my step. Step looks like that. I sink my body to the right. That's when I cross the arms. Left is on the inside. I turn the body even a little further when I step to the side. Then I turn my body to the left. Obviously further than just to the middle. So I'm turned to the left now. And in order for me to come in position, into the pulling the bow position, I let myself drop back into the middle, draw back the bow here, and come into position. Now I'm centered, my shoulders and my hips are in one plane, so it's nothing like that. I don't twist my upper body backwards like some horse archer would do or something like that. I stand completely straight with my hip joints and my shoulder joints in one plane, and the arms are out to the side. Then I release, turn the body to the right, push off the left ball of the foot, bring the left foot to the right, and stand up. Standing up is like pushing on a surface of water, just very gently bending the wrists here. Now I turn to the left. Right arm is on the inside. Step to the right. I turn my body. Now it's turned further than the middle, and also I have a little bit more weight in my right leg now. From here, I turn my body back to the center and I open up the arms, pulling the bow. I release, turn back, bring the right foot to the left, and sink back down again. So that's the basic version of the second exercise. A couple of things to say here. For once, how do we breathe? From this position, that's an inhalation. That's all inhalation. That's still all an inhalation until here. That's my exhalation, coming back and up And this again is my inhalation. Until the maximum drawing point of the bow. And then I come back and exhale. So inhaling, coming out, exhaling, coming back to the middle. Inhaling, coming out, and exhaling back to the middle. In the end position of this, show you from the side. So when I come here, I turn to the side. Make sure that you're not doing something like that. See, my left arm and my right arm, they're not in a line anymore. My left arm bends to the back of my body, and so does my elbow. What I want is the longest possible distance between my right elbow and my left palm. And that I can only get if they are in absolutely one line. Not out here and not back there. Also, whenever you pull the bow back like that, if you'd had an actual bow and you release back here, you would have a problem, because you'd not only shoot the arrow, you'd shoot part of your face as well. So that's not what we want. What we do want is the arms be in a line, even a little bit to the front of the body. Whoa. In this position, the spine is still straight. The chest in the breathing is lifted just a little bit, the inhalation. But it's nothing like that. So I just open up my chest a little bit up. Not really rolling the shoulders back, I just open my chest a little bit. And there is another aspect. This other aspect is this sinking into my legs, because in this position I have an upward aspect and I have a downward aspect. The downward aspect works on strengthening and slightly stretching the legs and giving me grounding. It also works on the kidney area, the kidney energy and the bladder energy. The upper area works on both, a little bit my heart and my lung, because I open up the heart 1 point, meridian, acupuncture meridian point, heart 1 is in here, and I get a nice little stretch on the meridian that runs from my thumb down here, or rather, it's actually the opposite direction that it actually runs. It starts here, it's the lung meridian. The lung meridian runs out all the way to the thumb, starting from in here. So I get a nice little stretch on the lung meridian. Apart from stretching the meridians, just by opening the arms to the side and having this slight opening of the chest, I have a releasing aspect. I release tension out of all the muscles between the ribcage, between the ribs, and I have an opening aspect for the heart and for the sternum. And that's why this second position, this works on my heart as well, on my heart and on my lungs. And there is a second part to this opening in the front, that's opening my back. And opening my back happens now. The time when I step to the side, my shoulder blades get pulled apart. That's when my spine actually moves a little bit in between my shoulder blades, opening up the rear aspect of my heart in the beginning of the inhalation. And that also is very nice and opens everything in the chest area and gets the fluids as well as the energy flowing. So that's the second exercise. It's a mixed exercise. It combines the fire, the water, and the metal element in itself, and that's the basic version of it.